The Anacostia River is one of the most polluted rivers in America, but the Anacostia is like a buried treasure. Cleaned up, its natural beauty systems will enrich us all. Fortunately, scientists, environmentalists, and citizens, including youth, are working hard to unlock the magic of the Anacostia River. We are DC Public School 5th graders bringing video cameras and our voice to the battle to save the Anacostia River. Please join us for Anacostia Explorers.
On a sunny day in April, a few conservationists stopped by our school to prepare us for an adventure full of firsts. Our first fishing trip, our first filming opportunity, our first time really experiencing the river in our own community.
I'm in the fishing boat.
I didn't know what to expect because I didn't know how to fish and I didn't know much about the river.
You guys are actually going to be working with a media outside of the program as well, whereas you guys get to tell your own stories through these cameras. We're going to train you guys on how to use the cameras. We're going to train you guys on how to work the lighting, different things like that. And it's going to be all you guys' story. So does that sound interesting?
Yes.
That sounds pretty good, right?
I love everything that we were hearing because I never saw a fish before or filmed anybody before.
The watershed concept.
We met fish biologist Sylvia Whitworth, who introduced us to our Anacostia watershed.
And I want to see how well you listen, because at the end of the presentation, there will be a test. I always give a test. Now we're going to talk about a watershed. And a watershed is an area of land that all water that falls on that land drains into a common point or a common river. So the Anacostia watershed covers that portion of land where all the rain, snow, whatever, drains into the Anacostia River. So the Anacostia flows is a tribute to the Potomac. The Potomac is a tribute to the Chesapeake Bay. And the Chesapeake Bay is a tribute to the Atlantic Ocean. Yes, she has said. Now, what did I tell you? That the water in the Potomac and the water in the Anacostia is fresh. And you said the Chesapeake Bay is salt. Okay, so Chesapeake Bay is a mixture of fresh and salt water. And that type of water is called brackish water. And that's a mixture of salt water and fresh water.
Before fishing, we had to get familiar with our prey, the fish of the Anacostia River.
There are 77 species of fish in the Anacostia River.
We have sunfish, we have carp, we have perch, white perch, yellow perch, we have
catfish, bass.
One of the best sport fishing fish in the world.
Bluegill. We still had some things to learn before casting our lines. Where were we fishing? Our location, Haynes Point, the place where the Anacostia River meets the Potomac before flowing into the Chesapeake Bay.
We have learned a whole lot, and right now we are fishing.
And we still had to learn how to fish.
First, you have to make sure that you have a fishing rod.
This is the rod here, and this is the reel.
This is your handle. It reels it in. You only reel one way.
Then you have to get bait, worms, or anything that you think that might attract fish.
Just take your thumb and one of your other fingers, whichever ones you're more comfortable with, and thread it through to form the shape of the hook, okay?
Very, very, very nasty. All worms on hooks, and we were off to the races. Unfortunately for us, casting does not guarantee a catch.
Have you caught a fish yet?
No.
Are you dependent on catching one?
Yeah.
I still ain't catch a fish. But I'm going to catch a fish. You caught a fish?
The fishing business, it takes patience. You just can't throw the rod in it and expect you're going to get one fish. You have to wait for a little while.
Is it not your fish, like Crystal?
Hey, Crystal.
Come on.
That is a prize. Oh, that's a strike. Move, you in the camera.
Striped bass. also known as rockfish. One of our species which comes from salt water to fresh water in order to spawn, all right?
My line rattled and I had thought it was a fish and I pulled it in, it was a fish.
Now, there you go. Now show her your fish. That's what. Let them know you got a white perch.
Crystal? You gonna touch it?
No.
Why not?
First time catching one?
Yeah.
We want to handle it safely for us and safely for the fish. Holding down the spines there. Okay? See these spines? See how he raises them to protect himself? Okay? But you can lay them down by grabbing the fish and laying down the spine. See? Like that.
Spicy.
Okay. Well, go ahead and try. Grab it, just like I did.
I knew he did not want to grab that fish because that was kind of scary. Keeping track of the fish in our river is only a small part of a day's work at DC Fisheries and Wildlife. You might be as shocked as we were to learn how our fish biologists actually catch the fish. Model and conservationist Lauren Hutton decided to drop by and meet the fish of the Anacostia and experience the electrifying electroshock fishing method firsthand.
So you guys are going to use that and catch something?
We're going to show you what's actually living in the river here. This is our standard sampling vessel. It's an 18-foot Smith Root electrofishing boat. We put these booms here, we lay them out in the front, which spreads the current. Their body takes the current in and it stuns them. It's very humane, but it immobilizes them where we can dip them up.
Okay, they're coming up all over. Let's stop shocking them.
And put them in our tank here.
That's strong. Another bass. This place is full of fish. Oh, there's fish everywhere.
These are called blueback herring. It's a type of herring. It's usually lumped with another fish called an alewife, and they're collectively called river herring. The other one is largemouth bass. This is probably the most sought-after fish on the river for a game fish.
Oh, it's bass. Another bass. Look at that beautiful bass. Nice, big, fat, beautiful bass.
They shock the fish, they study the fish, they weigh the fish, they measure the fish, and then they let them go.
Another day, another stream, another method. This time with fish biologists in the water. They strap on their backpacks and walk in the water with their wand and shock the fish that way.
Right now they're shocking the fish. They just caught a few of them.
We have a measuring board to take the lengths on the fish. We also have a scale so we can get their weight. And we also have a pit tag reader. We put a small tag in it called a pit tag, P-I-T, and it's a small glass capsule that's injected into the body cavity of the fish. It's basically a serial number for the fish. It'll give us some information as to where the fish has moved from and how much it's grown over that period of time.
They really do keep track of them fish.
This is a largemouth bass, length 414. What I'm doing now is I'm going to take a few scales off of the fish, and we'll take those back to the office. You can read the scales, not much different than you would read the rings of a tree, and that'll give us the age of the fish. Okay, these are the alewives. The weight of 194. This is an American eel.
See me touch that thing?
Got the test. I want you to tell me the 3 types of water that you can find. We mention it in the series, more than one. Just raise your hand.
Salt water, fresh water, and brackish water.
What was the last one?
Brackish water.
Very good. He doesn't wear
My hand.
Oh. And you can share that with the class with you. Okay. That's
The trainer told me whether you're fishing, electrofishing from a boat or you're shore fishing.
Calvin?
I lost my worm. It's a good way to connect with your environment and river.